2019 تحت رعاية السيد الرئيس عبد الفتاح السيسي رئيس الجمهورية.
Welcome back, dear viewers. You're still watching The Breakfast Show live on Nile TV International, and it's now time for our topic of discussion for today. And we're going to be talking about the latest financial stability report that was issued in 2018, and it was prepared by, of course, the Central Bank of Egypt. And also, this has revealed that the Central Bank has issued several initiatives regarding the financing of companies and small and medium enterprises. And also, we're going to be talking about the participation of the Egyptian youth in for the youth forum that is held under the auspices of President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi. And to shed more light on this topic, we're most delighted to be joined here in the studio by Ms. Sherien Rayan, and she's an economic expert as well as a professor or instructor at the Egyptian Banking Institute. First of all, good morning, and thank you so much for joining us.
Good morning. First of all, I'm very much interested to start with the initiatives that were launched by the central bank, because I remember in the past we talked a lot about the banking sector. Now we can see actually unprecedented initiatives when it comes to the small and medium enterprises, the facilities provided and the loans provided for the small and medium enterprises, and even companies and anyone who would like to launch his own project here in Egypt. So let's elaborate more on this part in particular.
What small and medium price companies are. At the beginning, when banks started to lend money to this kind of industry or this kind of segmentation, they didn't really know who is eligible for this kind of interest rate. The interest rate given by the central bank is a specific interest rate. It's not the normal interest rate that is given to other companies. So the first thing and the best thing about the initiative we started with is that they started defining what actually SMEs are. They decided that they were gonna define SMEs according to the amount of productivity that the company is gonna make. If the amount of productivity of the company is gonna make is less than 50 million, then this is a very small company. If it's between 50 million and 200 million, then it's a medium company, and above that, it's gonna be a global or bigger company. They decided to give these companies a 5%, 7% and 12% rate, so they could actually take the money, invest it in the companies and help them grow. I believe that the 7% rate percentage has not been followed for the past year. We have stuck with the 5% and the 12%. And what's happened is when they get a very small interest rate and this amount of money to invest in the market, the very small companies are are growing up and becoming medium companies, and the medium companies are becoming large companies, which increases our gross domestic product. We have countries like Germany where 75% of their gross domestic product is SMEs. If we can reach that kind of level where SMEs in the country exports a lot of products and we use our domestic products, we won't need actually to have a lot of external kind of products. We won't need to take a lot of US dollars inside. So CBE, also the Central Bank of Egypt, is very concerned with giving the opportunity to young people to actually, just like you said, even people who have not had a sort of kind of company before, if they're below 50 million, if I'm a new graduate and I wish to actually have my own business, I can go to the bank and apply for an SME's loan. 20% of any bank external loans in the entire Egypt banking industry, in all the 39 banks, have to go through SMEs. Central Bank does our annual reports and make sure that 20% of any loans given outside the bank have to be SMEs. It's a national kind of investment in the country where it will create more job opportunities, it will create more flow of money, it will create a different kind of environment. What also is being made is those small companies did what they used to do is they kept their money inside their offices or inside their homes. So CBE, part of the SME's achievements is financial inclusion. What they did is they gave the opportunities for these companies to take their money from their house and put them into the banking sector as something legitimate, something that where the money comes in and goes out, where we can track the amount of money.
Business cycle.
It is a business cycle. You can give them taxes properly. You can give them the support they need. So part of SMEs was getting the small companies where the money was not in the market, set in the market, where it was done in houses, gone into the banking cycle or the banking industry. Another thing what happened is when financial inclusion started to grow in Egypt, a lot of companies decided that we don't really want to go to banks, we want to do it digital. So CBE, part of the SME's achievements as well, is that they're doing platforms, online platforms now for customers, but who actually have companies, not like normal individual customers, where they can do their international transactions through online bankings and online services, even through ATM services or through our online platforms in most of the banks. Another achievement that SMEs really has done is that a lot of training departments have developed and close the gap between what people understand of SMEs and giving the SMEs companies and SMEs employees and the banking industry in general training, so they can actually be qualified enough to get these companies running and these companies growing and making the market, the Egyptian market, a little bit of a big platform. Even I believe in 2030 we will be able to compete with international companies if we go to the same growth rate.
Mrs. Sherien, also, don't you think that such initiatives that you have mentioned reflects the government's keenness on supporting small and medium enterprises? And in your opinion, what are the other initiatives that you think need to be nurtured by the government in order to encourage similar initiatives?
It's true, the government has given a lot of support to SMEs. The support is really reflected with especially the interest rate. You cannot go and get an interest rate loan like this one if you're gonna apply for a personal loan or a car loan or a normal kind of loan, a credit card, whatever kind of banking facility. This kind of rate was specially done by the government with the central bank for this type of industry where we want to really grow. They have also given the priority to industries like agriculture and industries like industrial areas. The companies that go with exports and imports have not been part of the SMEs initiative a lot. They started that way, but then the bank and the government decided that it will be more beneficial if we started to actually create products and physical actual what are they called? Physical quantities of products that can be exported instead of giving the SMEs initiatives to services. It's also given an opportunity to people who have new ideas, new concepts, who thought that they couldn't achieve them in Egypt and wanted to go to a foreign country. They would stay in Egypt, get the bank loan and start their own, even family businesses.
I think you tackled the most important part, because now we can see, as you mentioned, for example, agriculture. The bank is trying to support and giving the loans also more, or allocating money for what the market really needs, so as to push forward the production wheel. I think this is something that we used to suffer from in the past, talking about I have to push and I have to support the needs of the market, not any project and that's it.
This is true. At the beginning, they started with any project, honestly, but the more you work on a project and the more you work on an initiative and the more time passes, the more you can make the initiative more centralized. So what happened is that they decided that, like you said,
including training and including the feeding industry as well.
Yes, for the training area, we have the Egyptian Banking Institute. It's a specified training center from the central bank where it gives international and national trainers for bankers and for people who are outside the banking industry, to give them an idea about what is SMEs, how can they work through it, how can they make their projects bigger, why is it done this way worldwide. They even give them study tours worldwide, I think once a year, where they give the opportunity to go to Malaysia, they give the opportunity to go to India. I believe this year they're going to go to China to see what kind of SMEs projects are being developed there. So then when we come back to Egypt, we can implement it according to our market. For the agriculture area, I think we discussed it before. They opened up a fertilizers kind of big company where we wanna stop getting exported fertilizers from outside. Yeah, from outside of Egypt and doing them inside of Egypt. What happened is they got the agriculture industry and started looking at the things we are exporting from outside the country. And when these people are willing to do the same job here in Egypt, those are the people who are most welcome to get the loan and get this kind of support, whether it's training, whether it's loans, whether it's sending them specified people or experts to do the job, so that we can run everything internally as much as possible.
I think in addition also to the industrial units, which is also another important part, because if you are talking about agriculture on one hand, there is also the industry and production on the other side. And we have seen the president, actually we have seen the sites now on the ground and pushing the youth, of course, to everyone he can has his own small, well-prepared factory.
This is true. This is true. Factories are growing, even worldwide. I believe we have between 235 to 400 SMEs projects, million projects worldwide. About 25 to 30 of those projects are documented and are working with the banking industry. We have about from 100 to 200 of those companies who are still not working with financial inclusions. And we have companies who have not gotten the support worldwide to actually push and move forward for SMEs. In Egypt, we do have that support, whether it's in the industry area or in the agriculture area. If you really want to have your own company and you really believe you can create a product that is going to be distributed in the country, banks are willing to give you that kind of rate and that kind of support and that kind of business plan and 5-year business plans and 10 years, even 20 years business plan. So you can actually implement this. And like I told you, the small business rates gives the company the ability to grow faster. Because if I give them a 16 or 17 or 18 rate, interest rate on their loans, what's going to happen is it's going to take them 10 years to grow. But if I give them a 5%, 7% or 12% rate, then that time goes to almost half the time, like five-year plan. So what happens is really small companies become medium companies in a second, and medium companies become bigger companies in a faster. It makes the growing factor for the company easier. It makes it easier for him to buy and get products. It's easier for him to get experts with that amount of money, because he has the flexibility of paying less return on investment on the investment he actually took.
Also, do we have numbers about how did such initiatives impact the unemployment? Has it decreased?
It's true. The unemployment rate has decreased in a very large amount. It has increased our domestic product, the amount of people who have worked. Especially in the industrial area, because a lot of those companies have grown up and started their own company. What happened is they had to hire people to do it. Machines do a lot of things, but employees are there for the everyday work, especially when the company is very small. They don't have the ability to do things automized. They don't have the money to buy the expensive programs or international programs that do things automized. So what really happens is when a business starts really small, it has about 1,000 employees. The bigger the company gets, the smaller the amount of employees that they have, because they go into automation and internets, and they go into facilities where they don't need a lot of people. But because SMEs is a starting business, like they call it, it's a small business. So its main concern is getting the right people, giving them the right training and having them there.
Yes.
Just allow me to go back to another part that you mentioned before, financial inclusion. And this is, of course, one of the most important parts. So I would like to know more, or to just shed the light on how far the banks can take benefit from the financial inclusion, and how far can Egypt in large take benefit also from the financial inclusion.
If the money is kept in your house, or it's kept in your office, or it's kept in whatever industry, then it doesn't go through the banking cycle. What happens is, if this money is put into a bank, whether it's going through a loan or it's actually put in a deposit or closing with a CD or a TD for the company, what really happens is the bank takes this money and reuses it for another company. So the flow of money keeps moving. But if the money stays at home, what happens is the value of money decreases and no one actually uses that money. Financial inclusion is very important to be able to track and know the growth of the country. If I don't know how much money we have, I don't know how much money we're moving around the country, I don't know how much money I need for the next years. And financial inclusion will also help in the next step, which is digitalization. You know, we all use our cell phones. Everything's done through our phone right now. People who are 30 and younger to 30, use their phones all the time. What happens is he has to do everything online. If we don't have financial inclusion, we will not be able to be digital, and we will not be able to be part of the international platform as well.
So we are moving in parallel with the sustainable development and the plan or the agenda for 2030.
Yes, we
with
are.
This. Just allow us right now to move on to a quick break, then we'll be back with more on our breakfast show. Welcome back once again, and still we are talking actually about whether we are talking about the economic fast recovery or economic fast growth in Egypt, and also talking about the National Youth Conference, and I believe both are very much related. If I'm talking about the National Youth Conference, let me say now it is not just a meeting with youth. Nowadays, it started to be a meeting between Egyptian citizens, between the nation and President El-Sisi, in which he is answering all questions, putting everything with transparency, all the challenges, because I believe this is part of the strategic planning. If you want to take me with you or you are changing, I have to be part of the change. I have to see with my eyes on the ground the challenges we are facing as well.
It's been here for a while, but they haven't given it the support we have been given for the past 2 or 3 years. So the youth conference helps the youth understand that we are there for them, that they have the right to answer and give questions as much as possible, that if they have a dream to actually become owners of certain kind of companies or go through certain kinds of markets, that they don't have to leave the country to do so. So he's there to make them feel that he's here for them. They have the government support, they have different kind of industry supports, and whatever kind of project they want to come up with, that he will be there to give them the kind of money support, training support, expert support. The conferences also gives us a sense of the kind of achievements the country has done, because sometimes even when he's asked questions, he can give us examples about projects and about industries that we have actually grown in and become better at. And when the youth see that we have become better and grown, they give them a sense of, I can do it as well. I am here, he's here with me, he's talking to me, I have everyone's support. I will do this, I will go to the bank, I will get the loan, I will start my company, I will get my friends and family involved. So it's very important. These kind of conferences and seminars are core for the SMEs industry, honestly. Sometimes even parents want to do big kind of businesses, but they're a little bit scared of the market, they're scared of the technology, they don't know what to do. When youth people are involved, sometimes they can get the support of their parents and telling them, we went to the conference, we talked about it, I have a business plan, we can do this, and it becomes a family business, which is what we really want. We want industries to become family businesses and grow and become a country where we're dependent on our gross domestic product. So it is a very important conference, and you're right about it. It's completely related.
Definitely, because again, talking about this important part, the most important thing that you are not alone. I'm here, I'm listening to you,
Yes.
and you have to understand everything about the environment, about all this. And I believe also when it comes to the stability in the economic status in Egypt and the development, or when they talked about the speedy economic growth, it all has to do with the all the steps or initiatives taken by the banking sector.
This is true. I'll tell you something else.
Very briefly, in 1 minute.
Okay, parents also believe that their kids should just work in a company. So for us to change the mentality of
The
Egyptians,
concept itself.
the concept itself, and make them believe that you can be an owner of your own company and grow in the country, this is what this forum is for. To change the mentality of I'm going to just be an employee to I'm going to be a person who's going to grow, do his own business, and become part of the economy.
Yes. Thank you so much, Mrs. Sherien Rayan,
Thank you.
an economic expert and also a trainer at the Egyptian Banking Institute. Thank you so much for being with us.
It's always
and
a
thank you for your
pleasure.
insight.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for being with us. And I think with this, we come to the end of our breakfast show for today. Thank you all for joining us. Karim?
Thank you so much, Nashwa. And just a quick recap, we talked about the importance and the significance of SMEs and the government support for such initiatives, and also the upcoming National Youth Conference to be held by President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi. Dear viewers, you're in the company of myself, Karim Yamaluddin, and Nashwa Rashid. Until we meet again, this goodbye.
هم دول شبابها، هم دول ولادها، دول بناتها.